Welcome to Our Girl Relationships. We talk about the problems people face in their day to day lives. Let's start with the video.
Rosaline and I, to put it lightly, never had a good married life. We met when we were both 21 at our master's program. Being new to the city where our university was, we both became each other's company, and initially it was nice, but ever since the beginning of everything between us, everything was clouded with lies. It was horrible. Sometimes I still find myself sitting and thinking about this situation even after it happened so long ago. And I can't help but question myself that with so many lies, was our relationship even true? Was she even true? Well, after questioning everything myself, I often wonder if any of this will ever be answered. So, like I mentioned, Rosalind and I met at our master's program. We gave each other company, and one thing led to another. Being two single individuals in their early 20s, we both found ourselves being attracted to each other. Nothing wrong with that, right? Wrong, because these things are only fun when both of them are single, not just one. And well, I think it is needless to say that I fell for her stupid lie, and that too was the first one from the many lies she was going to tell me. Well, now, not being aware of her lies, we start to date, and right after about a year of it all, Rosalind sits me down one day and tells me she's pregnant. Now, hearing this news might give out a mixed reaction among all of you, and it did for me as well, because for the first couple of minutes, I found myself questioning all the precautions we took. But well, mistakes happen, and I've already always wanted to have kids, so I just went with the flow. It was all still good then. I mean, I paid for all of the expenses, and Rosalind seemed very happy. She soon gave birth to my first daughter, and our bond had just gotten stronger. So I did what I thought was the right next step. I decided to ask her to marry me since by that point we had finished our master's program and both were earning pretty well. She accepted my proposal and we had our wedding. Right after our wedding, I mean, it was about a year after she had given birth to my daughter, Rosalind fell pregnant again. And this time I had absolutely no suspicions because, of course, we're married. We've been missing protection once in a while, and who else would knock her up? Well, once again, I take full responsibility for her pregnancy only to find out about all her disgusting lies later down the line. And not just the lies, because that is sort of the least of my concerns here. It's just her horrible behavior, her ability to lie so much, and her ability to use her emotions like a mask that she can just put on and take off once in a while. I only found out about it all after the birth of our son. It was horrible. From the get go, it was like she just wanted to be out and engaged in her work. She wants to excel in her work, she'd tell me, and it didn't take too long until she sat me down and told me that she had gotten an amazing promotion and was wondering if I could be a stay at home dad for the kids. Honestly, everything she said at that time perfectly made sense. She was earning triple what I was, but who knew? This was all part of a horrible trap she made because within a year of me being fed up with her never being home and never giving me enough money for the kids, I sat down and handed the divorce papers. I still remember very vividly how she was buzzing, full of pride, as she told me all about her affair. I was informed to evict the house from there. And since it had been only a year that I had been a stay at home dad, I had no leg to stand on, and definitely no savings because most of them had been exhausted from looking after the kids. Well, I was at a low phase from there on. I knew my kids weren't mine because she told me about it all the moment I was handed the divorce papers. Now, with no money to fight for child support, with the already rigid laws, I found myself at a very low point in my life for the next couple of years as I struggled to make ends meet. for my children. Yes, I still call them mine because they don't have anyone else except me, at least not their mom. So it's been about 9 years since all of that happened. Currently, I'm at a very good place in my life after making some smart career choices. I currently live with my children and my wife, Anna. Life has been good and everything, but that's not the end of it all, Because if it was, I wouldn't be here. Well, it's a random day at work, and my phone starts to buzz with calls from this unknown number. I just pick up without thinking about anything because I often get calls from old friends, clients, since I've had this number for a really long time. Now, as soon as I pick the call up, right by the tone of the hello, I can tell it's Rosalind. It almost feels like my heart has dropped into my stomach because, mind you all, it's been a whopping 9 years since we last spoke. Questions immediately start raising in my mind, and I ask her the same. Why are you calling me? I asked, and her response was to start trying to pursue me, to meet her, to catch up. Well, obviously, I'm not going to fall for that, and I just tell her to put it straight to me. So she does. She goes on a 15-minute tangent about her sad life, how her ex, who she had left me for, left her and she has nowhere to go because she has no savings. I knew where this was going, and even before I got the opportunity, she asked me if I could help her out with some cash. I immediately said no and reminded her everything she's ever put me and my children to. Surprisingly, she heard everything. I guess she's really at a low point in her life because soon after, she began begging like crazy, and once again, I declined, hanging up the call. Now, I wouldn't think about this situation ever again, but the fact that she's gone out of the way to message my kids and some of our mutual friends in our master's program who are all pressuring me to help her out. I'm kind of conflicted. AITA? Hi, everyone. I decided to meet up with one of our mutual friends who she had messaged on Facebook. It seems like she and Rosalind have been friends for a long time, and I just wanted to know what it was that made her believe that Rosalind, anywhere, had the right to feel entitled to my money. On top of that, Anna too has jumped on the bandwagon of having Rosalind to meet the kids, and I don't know where all of this is coming from. I will be talking to her, likely showing her this post after she comes back from her work. Stay tuned for the updates. I met up with Maya, the mutual friend, and boy, was the story Rosalind spread about me a mess. Apparently, ever since we broke up, Rosalind claimed that I had been cheating and left home with the kids to live with the affair partner. Now, everyone had their suspicions on that one because why would any judge let me have full time custody for my kids? Well, now I realized the reason why none of these people have been talking to me, and things just intensified after the fact that Rosalind allegedly got out of another toxic relationship and is struggling so much that she technically has to be on the streets. I was fuming. I made it all clear to Maya and told her that she was a shitty friend if she just lived happily ever after hearing one side of the story. She apologized to me profusely, telling me that she'll make sure that this story goes to everyone. And I told her that after everything, Rosalind and all of them could do anything they wanted before leaving. I knew my response was heated, but I just couldn't handle it all. Well, then I spoke to Anna, who was completely understanding throughout it all. I showed her this post, and after speaking for a while, she began tearing up and confessed to me that the reason she had been insisting on making the kids talk to Rosalind was because they had been blaming it all on her. I felt horrible both for Anna and my kids because I know for a fact that Anna has been nothing but an amazing maternal figure to the kids, and the kids love her dearly too. I just knew it was time for a firm family discussion. It's been a couple of months since I last updated. My children and both Anna and I are in family and individual therapy currently, and it's helped a lot to communicate and express our emotions about this situation. Rosalind truly impacted our family, especially my children, by trying to manipulate them, by promising them to get back in their life if they convinced me to help her. This was a heartbreaking discovery, but the therapy sessions helped all four of us understand that all we want from each other is boundaryless love, and we're currently working on it. As for my friends back from Masters, they all apologized to me profusely after finding out about the entire situation, and it seems like they have cut off Rosalind from their friend circle. Honestly, all of them are like strangers in my life at this stage, so it doesn't impact me all that much. What does, though, is my family, and the fact that they seem happy currently is all that matters. Thank you. NTA, you've handled this situation perfectly. Now, make sure to block Rosalind everywhere so she never returns in your life like a storm. And even if she does, I hope you and your family will be able to stand against it like a wall of bricks. NTA, good on you for handling this situation well. Make sure to keep your friends from Masters at a hand's distance. My brother, Ron, is dating a single mom, Sheila. They've been together a year or so. Her daughter Gigi is 8 or 9, I think. I'm not the biggest fan of Sheila or Gigi. Sheila is argumentative and acts like she's the most intelligent person in the room, even when she's wrong the majority of the time. I try to be nice for my brother, but they're not people I go out of my way to interact with. Gigi always finds a way to have the attention be on her. I have a 12-year-old daughter, so I know sometimes they like to do plays or sing a song, but with Gigi, it's every time. I don't blame her. It's her mom that suggests it. Over the weekend, we went by my parents to celebrate my dad's birthday. My wife, daughter, two brothers, sister-in-law, nephews, and Sheila and Gigi. We had dinner, and when we were having cake, my dad asked my nephew how he was liking playing guitar so far since he started lessons recently. He said he did. Then Sheila said, Gigi has been learning to play the recorder. She can play for all of you later. So after dinner, we were all, except daughter and nephews because they were playing a game, summoned to the living room. Gigi started trying to play Three Blind Mice, then switched to Mary Had a Little Lamb, then started over, then went back to Three Blind Mice, then tried playing Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star. This went on for 15 to 20 minutes. Start, stop, restart, switch. Then her stopping to talk for a while. I felt like I was going to be there forever. I excused myself to go check on the kids. Then I stayed downstairs with them. My wife found me a while later and asked if I was hiding. I said something like that. Later, I was outside having a cigarette, and Ron came out and confronted me. He asked why I left when Gigi was trying to do a concert for us. I said I went to check on the kids and got distracted down there. He said, BS. You couldn't sit for 10 minutes and listen to a little girl play a song. I said, more like 20 minutes, and she wasn't playing. If she's going to do a performance, she should learn to play the song first. Sheila shouldn't put her on the spot like that if she's not ready. But I'm not going to sit and listen to someone stop and start over and over. He said, she's a kid, and I need to grow up instead of acting like an inconsiderate ass, and went inside. We've never made the whole family sit and watch, listen to my daughter play, or sing whatever, and neither has my other brother with my nephews. It's annoying that this happens at every get-together. Christmas, Thanksgiving, birthdays. It's a poem or a song or a story or something. I talked to my wife later that night, and she said it was rude for me to just leave. She understood that Sheila and Gigi annoy me, but I need to learn to suck it up. AITA for leaving instead of sitting and listening to her concert? NTA, even if the kid had been performance ready, it's unfair to hold all the adults hostage for more than 5 to 10 minutes of that stuff. Gigi's mom is using the kid like she's a performing monkey. Ugh. And poor Gigi is going to grow up thinking people want her to perform for them. And at some point, she's going to get a really ugly reality check. Ideally, someone in that group would be able to break into the performance with a genuine, "That's great. Let's hear it for Gigi. She's earned a piggyback ride," or ice cream or whatever, and gracefully bring the concert to a close. I can't muster that kind of convincing emotion, but I admire those who can. NTA, I'm pretty sure I would have done the same or worse, like taken out my phone and zoned out. In your situation, it's cool to encourage kids to try things and perform, but there's a limit. After 20 minutes, if it's not my kid, and if the kid in question doesn't know what they're doing, subjective, but IMO, stopping and restarting multiple times qualifies. That limit has been passed. If it's my kid, I'll listen however long. So I get where your brother and Sheila are coming from, but I'm not going to throw a fit if other people don't. And if it's a reoccurring event, then definitely NTA. NTA, you are not obliged to care about someone else's kid's shitty talents. I have a friend who keeps sending me vids and pics of his kids doing the most mundane things. And I always feel like my time has been wasted. Like, bro, this is 2022. If your kid isn't gifted, then no one cares. Okay, so for context, my mom, female 36, had me, female 20, when she was only 16 years old, and my stepdad is 3 years younger than her, so we only have a 13-year age gap. They married when I was 9 years old, and rather than attempting to immediately assume the role of father and replace my father, he made an effort to be more of a friend and someone I could rely on. So while I respect him as a father because he has raised me for the past 10 to 11 years, our relationship is more similar to that of an older brother and a baby sister. Growing up, my mother was always extremely strict and was the "I'm your mother, not your friend" type of parent. So having someone I could relax and joke with was extremely comforting. We were recently having a family movie night when this horrifying looking character appeared on the screen. So I joked and asked my stepdad how much he was paid to play that character. My mother was clearly annoyed by the joke, but we ignored her, and he laughed it off while joking that it was difficult for the production team to get the CGI to match my exact appearance. She didn't seem to mind his joke, which was normal because it doesn't seem to matter when I'm the target. After the movie, my stepdad switched on the news, and a report about a burning down shop in our city came on. A few weeks ago, the building my stepdad works in caught fire as he was leaving for his shift. A few days later, my stepdad was called to work for fire watch, and while en route, he was in an accident. We jokingly said that the cosmos was trying to tell him not to go to work, and he ended up quitting. So when I saw the news that evening, I giggled to myself and asked my stepdad if he applied for employment there. This was poking fun at him for having bad luck. He laughed and remarked that it was actually pretty funny, but my mother didn't appear to think so because she snapped. She then burst into a fit about what a terrible person and daughter I am, and how horrified she was that I could treat my father so disrespectfully. She told him to quit tolerating my abusive behavior. She warned me that there would be consequences if I made another stupid joke, since she was tired of me tormenting my stepdad. I lost my temper and yelled back that she was to blame for not wanting to connect with me in any other way than as a parent. I told her that she was obviously jealous and projecting because she couldn't have that relationship with her parents. I then said she should shut up and mind her own damn business and maybe even grow up and pick up some humor along the way because she was nothing but a freaking buzzkill. She froze, then started sobbing. I might have been a bit harsh, but everything I said was true. My family called to tell me I was an a-hole for treating her that way. My stepdad also believes I could have handled the situation better. Am I the a-hole here? While what you said may be true, it was needlessly cruel and counterproductive. There obviously needs to be an honest discussion between the three of you where you can tell each other how you feel without judgment or yelling. Keeping it bottled up causes outbursts like that. NaH. But you all need to put in some work to be on the same page. NTA, your mother started the bad behavior. Has your stepfather ever told you he's uncomfortable with the way you guys banter? The problem with shouting at folks is that they tend to shout back, and when tempers are high, people tend to say things they would not normally say. Your mother wouldn't have had all those things said to her if she had started the conversation in a more measured